What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is the RackPack. Today we're going over a gear loadout of what we used for this season as well as what we used for other seasons. I figured this would be kind of cool to share what I use in my areas since I do both public and private, and I bring different stuff for both scenarios. So I figured, heck, why not make a video on it, kind of show off what I do. So the first thing I like to go off with is my bag. So here on this bag, I got my good old travel bag, or this is my private land hunting bag. This is whenever I'm like hunting in a tree stand or in a blind, something I can just kind of pack some more essentials in, something I can always keep loaded up pretty good. It's got a lot of storage in it. It's really nice. It's a very comfortable bag. It's got a lot of padding in it for that reason. I like it a lot. I've had this one for about 10 years. Still brand new. It's got a few holes in it from some wear and tear, getting caught on branches, but that just happens, but if it holds it, it still works. This is very good for if you're sitting around a long time, not having to move around a lot. That is a huge thing. So if you are more of a deer stand hunter, I would definitely recommend getting this. I've had this for a long time. This is the Pro Series Field Line bag. I don't know if they make them as much anymore. I think they kind of changed the look on it, but I very much recommend this bag. It is very fun to use. You can use it for a multitude of things. I'm able to fit probably my bibs and my jacket and still have room for food, water, ammo, knives, like necessities, stuff like that. My phone, like it'll hold it all. It's got a lot of space. It's got a lot of compartments that you can do it. So it's a very nice bag. I've had it for a long time. That's what I use for my private hunting. For my public hunting, whenever I go out PG and other people, this is my public land hunting bag I'll use. A little bit more condensed, a little bit less space, but more for versatile use. It's lighter, less spots on it. It definitely doesn't have as much room, so I usually pack light or I wear what I'm going to be wearing the whole day. I won't really be changing a lot, so that way you don't have to worry about it. I'm pretty sure there's a seat. Yeah, there's a little seat you can pull out in this, so if you ever want to sit down, you can kind of unclip that and pull it out. This is an old school bag. It's actually my papa's old bag that he gave me. It's got a hydro flask in it, so I usually fill it up with water. I gotta get a new one though. The nozzle's broke, so I gotta buy a new one for that. But other than that, it's pretty nice. It's a redhead, amazingly, and it's just got like enough for the basic stuff. Just one or two knives. This is my med pouch. I usually keep like some bandages, band-aids, sterile stuff in this, because you never know. We've had a few times where me and Parker have been tracking deer, and one time he kind of got his leg pretty good, so we had to not really stitch it up. We had to put some gauze on it, so that's all in this bag, and I have a spot in the other one. I have to actually refill that one because I was pretty bad this year. I didn't even pack it in that, so I'm going to be focusing on that, try to get more medical stuff in my one bag, so whenever I go on private hunts, if I'm ever by myself, I've got my stuff with me. Speaking of which, we got the bags. We got to know what to put in them. Food and water, basic two things. It kind of depends what you want to do. If you're going public and you don't have a flask like I do, I always say a water bottle or water bottles. I wouldn't do like soft drinks because you'll be walking around a lot. You don't want to be messing with that. And it is definitely not the most ideal thing. If you're sitting around a lot, cool, you can bring like soft drinks, but I would do water most of the time if you're gonna be like hiking or tracking a lot, trying to find a good spot on the public land side. It's just better for you. I'm starting to try to drink more water whenever I'm hunting. So food wise, I would definitely bring actual food if you're going public land hunting, because you never know how much walking you're gonna do. Snacks and stuff is nice if you're sitting a lot, but if you're walking a lot, I'd definitely bring like granola bars, PB&J sandwiches, cold cuts, depending on the weather and what you feel like you want to eat. Definitely bring more nutritional value things to kind of keep your energy good so you don't pass out outside. But don't forget, bring some snacks, like freaking gummy bears, Oreos, whatever you want to do. Besides the food though, you got like lights, you got headlamps, you got flashlights. I usually bring both. The only reason why is because during the night, whenever I'm walking in my stand, I'm not gonna be able to shoot anything. So I'm just gonna be using this to look around, kind of seeing where I'm going. Whenever I'm ready to go, I'll just slap this bad boy on right here, tilt it down a little bit. That way my hands are good and I'm able to kind of shoot and do what I need to do. But it's definitely more scenario based. If you can do both, if you have both, bring both. Why not? You never know, you might need a flashlight. If your one flashlight dies and you don't have a spare, like I always do, like right here, it's always in my bag, so I always keep it there. I always keep a spare, never wrong to be prepared. Go on to other stuff you should have, probably the basics. A good old ear pro, whether it's old school or just basically your plugs. It's nice because if you ever take somebody with you and they don't have ear pro, it's the best way to do it. You know, same thing for eye pro. You know, if you need eyeglasses, always keep a pair. You never know if you're gutting a deer can get a little messy sometimes, so it's nice to have something to cover your eyes. But these are definitely this. Like this is like $5 or $10 at Walmart, and this will last you for a long time. Mine's never been opened, but I've got them, and it's a sealable bag. I mean, you've always got it. If you need it, you'll have it. It's nothing too crazy on that. Now, I don't have my deer bleat. It is in my truck because I did do a little bit of walking the other day. So I don't really have that, but I have all my other stuff. So I got my bleat. I don't have my grunt tube. That's what I meant. So I have my bleat. This is what I'll usually throw in a bag. I'm going to throw that back in right now. So it's a little common thing I do while deer hunting. And then, of course, I got my rattlers. This is from a 6-point buck I got back in the day. I went ahead and ground down the brown tines so I can actually use them as rattlers. This is a pretty cool hunt I did. This is actually the first buck I got on my own. That was pretty cool. It was my first time solo hunting, and he came out, and he didn't die. He did not die. I actually spine shot him. He was paralyzed, and he was running in circles. So I had to go down and finish him. It was probably not my best time. I was like 17, 18. So this is my first time having to finish a deer that wasn't dead. So as I'm walking up, I'm about 2 or 3 feet from the deer. So of course, shot him, and yeah, it was a little bit too much. I shot him a little too close, and I kind of got a little messy. Going into that though, other stuff you should bring, definitely, people are gonna be a little weird, wet wipes. Trust me guys, wet wipes are the way to go now. Okay, everybody's like, no, just bring a toilet paper roll. No, wet wipes. Having a pair of wet wipes, maybe not in like the wintertime hunting, but having actual like wet wipes just to be able to clean yourself and not have to worry about any like burning sensation and stuff, dude, it's a game changer. Trust, you're gonna want wet wipes. And plus, if you have a kid, you already get them whenever you have a kid. Just take the pack with it. They're not gonna use it, you know. Other things like a compass, you know. Compass is very good if you're public land hunting. If you get lost, especially if you're in an area that you've never hunted. Now, if you're in an area you've usually hunted public land, you know the way of the land a little bit. That's different. But a compass is nice, because especially trying to get back to where you were, you're like, okay, I'm on the west side. If I just need to walk west, I'm going to hit the road, then I just need to go from there, because you may not have service, you know, and that's another thing. Portable charger. You know, portable chargers, especially since we're in the land of a phone. So I'm filming this with my new phone right now. And I would definitely focus on using anything but your phone. If you can use your phone less, the better. But always bring a backup charger or a charging block to power it on the road, because like sometimes whenever you're out in the woods, that battery will just sink, you know. So that way you're staying safe out there, as well as maybe making sure that you're not getting into any private land. You know, I use good old X-Hunt. X-Hunt's a very good website and app. You know, me and Parker, we use that a lot to figure out where we can hunt and where we can't hunt. And that also makes sure you don't trespass. You know, you don't want to trespass. Every time you're hunting, you need to make sure you're on public land. Other things that you should do if you're kind of like me, you like recording, GoPro and a camera. You know, this is something I got because, of course, I missed my last buck. Or using your phone. Always having spare batteries, chargers for these. The best way to do it. This camera is pretty nice, you know, it gets pretty good zoom, nothing too bad, it's handy, it can fit in all my pockets, that's the main thing. Same thing for the GoPro, you know, I can stick it on my hat, if I don't want to use it, flip it up, and then I'll be pretty much safe from there. If I want to bring it down, boom, hit start, pretty simple. When using these, you want to make sure you have an SD card. Now, luckily, both of these use the micro SD, which I didn't know this did. I saw this the other day. I was like, wow, that uses a micro SD. I can just pop the one from this into this, you know, easy transfer. Now, when you're on the road, like let's say, like soon we have a little bit of a trip coming up for some fuzzier objects that we're gonna hunt later on in the year. I'm gonna have to travel and we're gonna have to be gone for a little bit. So I'm like, crap, I'm gonna have to find a way to edit these videos. So I got this bad boy right here. This is basically like a port for laptops to be able to do anything, you know, HDMI, SD reading, and this was about $40 at Walmart, and it was probably one of the best purchases I got. It works real well. I can do both actual SD card as well as a micro SD. It is nice. It's portable. I can put both of these into my bag, my travel bag. This will be separate from my hunting bags, which is just a normal backpack or a duffel bag. Nothing you guys are gonna miss out on that. I'm not gonna show that in the video. But that's basically that part. Now, of course, when hunting on public land and private, what gun am I taking? So I brought both of the guns we used this year. This is the 243 rifle. This gun is usually what we use out of the private land that we hunt at, just because it's got a lot of fields, it's got a lot of long range shooting. This gun is gonna perform better than most. Now, of course, it's a 243. I am kind of teetering against 243s, you know? I'm not a fan of them. I feel like that if your shot placement isn't right, the deer could go a long ways. And like with Olivia, she shot this gun in the last video. She shot it, pretty good shot, right in the heart and lungs. And we didn't have a blood trail for about 50 yards, you know? So unless you know where that deer's going, you might have a chance. So it depends on what caliber you use, but I usually use like a long rifle, something that will shoot over 100 yards for sure, because these fields are sometimes like 500, 600 yards long, and I've hit like 200-yard shots on those fields, and it's definitely a longer range shooting, you know, not as much obstructions as well as other things. So that's definitely the gun to use if you were hunting in the same areas. Even if it's public land, fields, you want longer shots because you're gonna be able to shoot farther without obstructions. Now, close range, you guys got a little preview of this gun. This is my 30-30. This is actually a little newer gun. I only have a sling for yet. I'm gonna buy one whenever we go Black Friday tonight. It is a very fun gun, very lightweight, you know, not that hard to use, pretty small. Very nice gun that we got pretty cheap for like what it could have been. Definitely not like a long range shooter. It can be, but it's not. I usually shoot like 75 yards maximum with this thing, but I'm in the woods usually. So whenever I'm walking through the woods, I'll have this, a shotgun, or something that I can aim easier than a scope, and I'm able to track the deer better as I'm aiming it. So definitely it depends on that. Also having ammo. One thing you guys need to make sure you have whenever you're hunting is your ammo. Some states, like for Indiana for at least, you're only allowed 10 rounds on you. So for me, I've now taken the initiative to buy 5-round mags or 10-round mags and load in 5 and 5. Now, if you don't have a magazine fed gun, I would always say at least have the free hands. Like I think, yeah, I've got my bullets right here for my 30-30 whenever we recently went hunting. So usually carry about 5 of these on the side, and I'll put 4 in. Only gives me 9, but at least I know if I ever get pulled over by a game warden, I'm not gonna get in trouble, because if you have more than these, you can get a citation for it. Sometimes if it's 1 or 2 over, they're not gonna be that mad, but if you have a good amount, like a whole box, you don't wanna do that. Even on private land, you never know, guys. Game wardens go everywhere. They can go to private land if you're hunting there. Okay, so keep that in mind. Just because you're in the private land does not make it safe from it being checked by the warden. Speaking of the wardens, you should always have a paper copy of your license. Now you're like, man, you know, Chaz, I got my ID on my phone. Your phone may die. And if you don't have proof of it, you could be taken in, and you might be able to show it later on, but it just saves steps. Have a paper copy, print it off the night before you go hunting, and just stuff it in your wallet. And that way you've got it on you. You know, you don't have to worry about having to open a picture up on your phone. You don't have to worry about trying to find it on your app, being like, oh, where's my license? Where's my license? It's just a lot safer that way. And honestly, it kind of just helps you have that good mental note of like, okay, cool, I've got my license. I'm good to go on it. And it kind of just keeps you more aware and makes you look like you actually are carrying it. It doesn't make it look like you just bought it last minute, you know, because you do have to have these before you go hunting. Some states, they don't really care as much, but some wardens will be like, hey, did you just buy this license? Like, how do I know you didn't just get it as I was walking up? You know, so, and sometimes it shows it, so you gotta be safe. I always say the night before, buy it. Other than that, that is pretty much all the things I bring. whenever I'm going hunting. But there's some other things you could always bring if you ever need to travel. You know, bring in an ATV or a good old RV with you if you go camping somewhere. Should, of course, always accommodate to that: tents, sleeping bags, bug repellent, stuff like that. I usually don't bring bug repellent because I don't really care for that. I don't really see a whole lot of bugs when I hunt, but you never know. Always have a little bit on me. I usually do like off. Off does pretty good for like mosquitoes for like turkey season. Now, if you're fishing, you know, you want to have your lures, lure bait boxes and stuff like that. It's pretty much the same thing. What I would definitely recommend that I wish I had was make sure you have your dressing stuff. So if you're going for like a big game where you're going to have to gut this deer and cut the meat up where you're at because you're like miles away from your truck and you don't want to drag this deer all the way and you have no way to transport it like via ATV, definitely have stuff to store the meat in, whether it be bags, the freezer paper. You know, always have that kind of stuff on you. Not like a big quantity like I did. Get like a smaller quantity one, just be able to cut it up and get what you need to get. For anything else though, if you have questions, comment in the video and I'll be like, hey, what if I bring this? And I'll tell you like, yeah, sure. I'll use my experience for it, you know. I'm not the best hunter, but at least I've hunted for pretty much my whole life. So I'll be able to tell you like, oh, that's a good idea. I've never thought about bringing that. Now, videos coming up. All right, we do have a plan to go coyote hunting. So it's gonna be a little bit, probably like late December or early January. We'll be probably posting that. I'll probably post some Black Friday stuff. I'm gonna take my video camera with me there. You know, get some Black Friday videos. That'll be pretty funny. You know, get to see how we do the normal life outside of hunting. Let's see, there's also, I will go ahead and say we're going to be doing a bear hunt in Kentucky. That's going to be sick. Can't wait to do that. I'm pretty stoked. We're going to take the 7mm rifle out for that, and I'll do the whole loadout thing before that gets posted and we even do it. That's actually going to be a week-long trip, so I'm probably going to post multiple videos for each day that we go and hunt. That probably won't be until next winter, sadly, guys. I don't know if I have time to do it. It's in December. It's for like a week long. If I get a chance to go out there for a day, I might do it, but it depends on finances as well as time with work. I've been trying to shoot some Call of the Wild stuff, try to get some good hunting stuff, you know, just doing some tracking and all that, but really haven't had a whole lot of luck. All the deer there are just button bucks, so I'm pretty low level, so it's gonna probably be a minute for that stuff. Other hunting videos like this, you know, might do some like stereotype videos, might do some funny moments that we've had while hunting. I'll be pretty much trying to hunt, like videotape the whole time, getting any small bits that we get. A lot more squirrel hunting and raccoon hunting and stuff like that, small game just to fill in. We're gonna try to do some more of that. Got to figure out the times and the right things. Might do some trapping videos. I've never trapped. Maybe a good time to start trapping. I've been trying to do a bobcat. That would be pretty cool since that did just get passed. I'm gonna do a bobcat video. But other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to check out the 2 videos we got in the short. If you have any suggestions, leave them down. Post them in the post I've made. Love to see your guys' ideas, and hopefully we get to see some cool videos. Adios, have a great day, and peace out.